Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. My name is Robert Oliver, and I am the president of the Federation of Library Friends of the District of Columbia. But more importantly today, I am also the president of the Lamond-Riggs Lillian J. Huff Library. Now, first I'd like to say that this is a very beautiful library that you all should be proud of. This is a great community achievement. Okay. And as with any community achievement, you know, we're going to do a lot here in terms of work. You have a great manager who wants to work with the community. He especially is interested in working with the youth. His name is Mr. David Gaston. Okay, I don't have much time, so okay, just a couple quick things. I just want to say that this is your library, so it is what you make of it. This is your neighborhood, this is your house, so, you know, let's take care of it, and it'll last forever. So, and I also want to give props to Jaspreet, who is a construction manager. I don't know if you want to... Okay. And lastly, before I bring on the teen council member, I just want to add that COVID has affected us all, and it's really reduced the ranks of a lot of organizations, the Federation of Library Friends also. So I ask that each and every one of you, whichever library is your home library, go back to that library and consider joining the Friends group. It's a worthwhile effort, and I think you'll enjoy it. Work with your friends, and more importantly, working with DCPL to achieve its mission to make sure that everyone reads and that we have one of the most educated populaces in the nation. Okay. And with that, I bring on the Tiara Crutchfield, the teen council member, whenever you're ready, or whenever she's ready, or I'm sorry, we haven't met before, so that's my problem. Okay.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Tiara Crutchfield, a recent graduate of School Without Walls High School. I'm so excited to be here for the official grand reopening of Lamond-Riggs Library. As a community member and teen council member of DCPL, I am so excited to see the new remodeled library here today and see all the patrons that this new library will bring. I am also very honored and excited to introduce and bring out our mayor, Muriel Bowser, and welcome her back to the library. So give it up for Muriel Bowser, everyone.
Well, good morning, Riggs Park. Good morning, Lamond-Riggs. Good morning, Ward 4. Good morning, Ward 5. Welcome to your beautiful new library. I'm Muriel Bowser, your mayor, and I am very proud to be here today to help open this wonderful library. I'm also happy to wish you a happy first day of the Marion Barry Summer Youth Program. I want to thank Tiara for representing her colleagues and also representing all of our wonderful seniors who have graduated in the past weeks from DC Public Schools and DC Public Charter Schools. Give our kids a big round of applause. I get to acknowledge a wonderful woman who served as one of America's first big city female mayors, Mayor Sharon Pratt, who you'll hear from later. Your former council member, Harry Thomas, is here. Give him a big round of applause. The at-large council member, Anita Bonds, is here. Give council member Anita Bonds here. You're going to hear from your council member, Kenyon McDuffie. Give him a big round of applause. Oh, I see some other council members back here. Janice George from Ward 4. And Christina Henderson, your at-large council member, Christina Henderson. Give her a big round of applause. And I think I spy the Democratic nominee for Ward 5, Zachary Parker. Give him a big round of applause. I'm also joined by members of our team, the Deputy Mayor for Education, Paul Kine. Thank you, Paul, for all of your work on education in libraries. So there are a lot of wonderful people who are going to speak to you today, so I'm going to try to speak quickly. I think everybody here knows by now, I grew up in North Michigan Park. I lived in Riggs Park for 16 years, and this library is my neighborhood library. And it's also the library. Every time my mother would drive past it, she would say, "When are we getting our new library?" She did. So I made it a point to make sure it was included in the budget. That we work with the DC Library Board. Where are our library board members? Give them a big round of applause. And that we work with the best library system in the world at DC Public Libraries. Let's hear it for our libraries. You hear that, Gaston? Best one in the world. And so we're happy that the vision to transform DC's libraries into beautiful buildings filled with wonderful librarians, with programs and services for the babies all the way up to the seniors, has been a vision that we have been undertaking since Mayor Tony Williams set the vision for transforming DC's libraries. So we've been able to do that, and we're almost there. We're really almost there. I just asked McDuffie, I said, this completes it for Ward 5, right? And then, of course, like a council member, he says, well, we're thinking about adding one. So we're going to work on adding one in Ward 5. But we also, during the pandemic, were able to complete, and if you haven't been there, please visit the phenomenal Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Library downtown. But I want to say a bit about a fantastic woman. And she knew me from a very small child. She worked hand in hand with my father, Commissioner Joseph Bowser. And I got to know her personally when we both served on the Lamond-Riggs Citizens Association. It settles. Where is the Lamond-Riggs Citizens Association? Give them a big round of applause. And the Lamond-Riggs Development Committee. Give Lamond-Riggs Redevelopment Advisory Task Force a big round of applause. So this is what I know about Miss Huff. She loved this library. She loved Riggs Park. And she started every greeting with me this way. She would say, "Here comes little Miss Bowser." You know what that means, right, Harry? Here comes little Miss Bowser. And so she undertook to mentor me as a member of the association and a new ANC commissioner to make sure I knew what she knew. I knew the ropes about getting things done for this community. So in no small way was Lillian Huff a part of my story in leadership in this community and for the entire city. So it gives me great pleasure to be able to support the committee's desire, the public library's desire, Ward 4, Ward 5, and the whole city's desire that this library be named for Lillian Huff. So with that, you're going to hear from some great Washingtonians who love books, love libraries, and love what they mean in transforming the dreams of our kids and our adults, and also understand that the transformation of libraries means, yes, they're about books, but they're also about all of the other ways that these buildings and the great professionals that work here can connect us to the rest of the world. So with that, please acknowledge and welcome your council member, Councilmember Kenya McDuffie.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. You know, as council member, you get to attend and participate in a lot of events where you get to speak and acknowledge neighbors. But I got to tell you, this one is special. It's special for a host of reasons, and I'm going to get into that in just a moment. But I can't get into that without acknowledging all the people who helped to make today so special. So bear with me. I want to acknowledge former Mayor Pratt as well. Let's give her a round of applause for all that she's done and continues to do for our city. We love you. We appreciate you, Mayor Pratt. Give my predecessor a round of applause, Harry Thomas Jr., for all the work that he's done to make sure that our libraries and our recs are up to par. I want to acknowledge my colleagues on the council. Anita Bonds is right here, Janice Lewis-George, Christina Henderson. Let's give them all a round of applause for all the work that they are contributing. Our State Board of Education rep for Ward 5, Zachary Parker, is here. Appreciate all the work that you're doing, Zachary. Thanks for being here as well. And I want to give a shout out to Richard and the entire library board. Antonio is here and the folks who are on the board for all the work that they've been doing to make sure our libraries are as beautiful as this one is as well. Let's give them a round of applause as well. Thank you. My friend and former library board trustees member Faith Gibson Hubbard is also here, and she's one of the people who I work with directly to make sure we're able to do this. Faith. And if y'all don't know anything about the Lamond-Riggs Civic Association, I'm going to ask y'all to stop hiding under rocks, because they have been putting in work in this community for a really long time, and this has been one of their priorities to get this library done. And so I want to give a resounding applause to the Lamond-Riggs Civic Association, please, for all the work that you all have been doing. You all have been phenomenal. You all made this happen. And we also need to acknowledge our mayor, who has been steadfast in making sure that our libraries have the resources that they need, because she, like me, grew up in this ward and understands the value that libraries bring to our education and how libraries go beyond just the education and the books that she mentioned, but they're community hubs, right? A lot of energy, a lot of vigor, a lot of conversations, a lot of discourse, a lot of debate goes on here, not only for kids, but for adults as well. So let's give Mayor Muriel Bowser a round of applause for all that she's done to make this happen. I'm going to sit down in a moment, but I got to tell you, I've been in office for 10 years, and I really appreciate these types of events. I was there at Woodridge Library with a sledgehammer to knock down, some of the glass and to help with the demolition there. We wanted to build a new library there, and we said we're going to do the same thing with Lamond-Riggs. We built new rec centers. We built new schools. We built the first middle school in years right here in Ward 5. But nothing makes me prouder than being here for this ribbon cutting today, because of the legacy and all the energy and the love, blood, sweat, and tears that Lillian and Huff poured into this community. She is an example of what it means to love your city, to love your community, and to be an activist and to put people before yourself. She sacrificed so much to make sure that we had a library in this community, and it is fitting. It is the least we can do is to name this library after her. And so I'm so excited. Let's give Lillian Huff a round of applause for everything that she did, her honor, her legacy. I'm so proud to be the council member today, to represent all that she meant to this community and to be a part of the collective effort to make this day possible. Thank you all so much. I appreciate it.
Coming up.
Well, good morning. It's hard to follow that act, but, my name's Tony Williams, and I am the board chair of DC Public Libraries Board of Trustees, and on their behalf, I'm here to bring you guys welcome and to congratulate you on this new, just amazing facility. Like the speakers before me, I do want to start with some words of thanks. Obviously, I want to start with the Lamond-Riggs Civic Association. Thank you for your input, for bringing this to us, for leading the charge. I'd like to thank Councilman White for his leadership on the Committee on Recreation, Libraries, and Youth Affairs. And, of course, I'd like to congratulate both Councilman McDuffie for his leadership throughout our ward. Just thank you for everything. And also to our councilman elect, here, Zach Parker. It was a pleasure to support you and look forward to your election. And of course, Mayor Bowser, congratulations on your recent victory in the primary as well. Mayor Bowser's legacy here, just for a minute, she has continued to drive investment into DC, into our community, but more importantly, she has taken that funding and that investment to invest in the people of DC, and this library is an example of that. So thank you, Mayor Bowser, for that. As I mentioned, I'm Tony Williams. It's a pleasure to welcome folks here on behalf of the DC Public Library Board of Trustees, our Executive Director, Richard Reyes-Gavilan. He's currently representing the libraries at the American Library Association Conference and, wishes he could be here and looks forward to coming here. But look, this building looks fantastic, and we are here to celebrate, the work of the design build team of HGA and Consigliere on their subcontractors. Thank you so much. But it is also a community effort to deliver a new library. So I want to recognize the DCPL Foundation, Rob Hartman, Susan Haight, Marquette Smith. Where is Marquette and Susan? I saw them earlier. There they go. These guys are fantastic. They continually raise funds so that we can do community programming in our libraries. I want to thank the library friends, obviously Robert Oliver, who was here speaking earlier, and then, of course, the DCPL staff. You will regularly see our librarians at this location, led by David Gaston, who are serving you daily. Our library's capital project management team, who ensures our projects are built on time and under budget. Our collections department, who orders the books and the items that you will see here. Our IT department, who ensures that the technology works. We heard you guys loud on the Civic Association. You wanted space, to gather. You wanted technology. We delivered for that. And the IT department is a key part of that. I don't know how to turn on any of these computers, so don't ask me. And there are, of course, many others who often remain unseen, but it's important that we recognize them because they are the people who make this library work every single day. And then lastly, we're not here just to cut a ribbon, but we are here to honor someone who brought library services to this community, a community that actually grew up in not too far down the street, similar to Mayor Bowser here. Lillian Huff was a steadfast advocate for this community, and what is so inspiring about this new library is that it refreshes her legacy when she originally petitioned Congress to put the library here. So, with cutting this library, we are renewing that spirit that Ms. Huff brought to the community, renewing our commitment here to make sure that when we do invest in new infrastructure, it is serving the people of DC. And again, I thank Mayor Bowser, I thank Councilman McDuffie, and I thank the Civic Association for all of your work and input. Thank you on behalf of the DC Public Library Board of Trustees.
And now it brings me great pleasure to recognize former Mayor Sharon Pratt to speak on behalf of the renaming committee of the Lamond-Riggs Public Library, followed by Rodney Foxworth. Thank you, Mayor.
Good afternoon, everybody. It is a great day today. And it was collective energy that brought this day about. I've never seen so much passion and energy as we mounted that in order to achieve this moment. Now, I have to begin by saying it is always an honor to be here with Mayor Muriel Bowser. I am delighted that she has been chosen as our standard bearer as appropriately in this upcoming election, as has Anita Bonds. And folks, I say standard bearer because we got to remember November. We cannot take anything for granted. Because that's how we got Donald Trump and the Supreme Court of today. So we've got to really remember that. It's been many years since it's good always to be with Councilmember Kenyon McDuffie and Janice Lewis George and Henderson. But Anita, I want to say that do you remember that day when we had the homegoing of Lillian Huff? I know you remember it, Tommy. And on that day, we pledged we would not let this city forget her contribution. We are not going to let local D.C. be overlooked. So Linda Grant and Rodney Foxworth and Rocky Twyman, I should have had you helping me when I was mayor. Romaine Thomas, Hazel Thomas, my goodness, Bob King, Frank, Linda Jefferson, All of you came together with a passion. I mean, you didn't just say, I'm going to be there. You were there. And because we know perfectly well there would be no library without Lillian Huff. She exercised and showed us how to do politics before we had politics. She was always ready to strategize. So this is a great day for D.C., and I am so thrilled to be a part of it.
Amen.
Rodney and Frank, I encourage you all to come forward now.
I know Gloria's behind me, so you guys bear with me. Good afternoon, Lamond-Riggs.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Lamond-Riggs. That's the way we do it here. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you very much. What a great day it is, and what a beautiful day to be in this wonderful new Lillian J. Huff Lamond-Riggs Library.
Yes.
Thank you. As you guys know, my name is Rodney Foxworth. I live in Lamond-Riggs. I'm the Ward 4 co-chair of the committee to rename the new Lamond-Riggs Library. I'm the committee's coordinator, and I'm also a friend of Mrs. Huff. I hope the mayor doesn't mind me saying this, but when I moved here about 20 years ago, I was Mrs. Huff's first vice president. When I moved here about 20 years ago, I became the first vice president of the Lamond-Riggs Citizens Association, and Mrs. Huff was the president. We worked together very well. One of the first things she asked me to do as her first vice president was to make sure that the funds in the city's capital improvement plan for the rebuilding of his library stayed in the budget. I succeeded Mrs. Huff for the first time as the Lamond-Riggs Citizens Association president. My friend, my neighbor, Muriel Bowser was my first vice president, and we spent many nights in the old library with Mrs. Huff, making sure that the money remained in the capital improvement budget. And when it slipped out for other projects, we advocated with our council members and the mayor to actually move it back in. So, Mayor, I hope you don't mind me sharing that. Okay. So before I begin my remarks, I would be remiss and I'd get in trouble if I didn't acknowledge a lot of other folks who made this day possible. Let me start by saying that give thanks to Mrs. Huff, right? Without her getting the original library built and setting aside money almost 15 years after the original library was built to rebuild it, we wouldn't be here now. Let's reaffirm that Mrs. Huff is the reason for the season. Then there's Diane Huff Lyons, Mrs. Huff's daughter. Diane, would you stand, please, so people can know who you are? Diane journeyed here from North Carolina with her family. And then there's Mr. Rocky Twyman. Mr. Twyman, can you stand and wave? Are you back there in the corner? There you are. Mr. Twyman is the committee's other honorary co-chair, and it was he who eloquently at Mrs. Huff's funeral a couple of years ago was the first one to publicly proclaim that this library, this building, should be named after Mrs. Huff. And thank you so much, Mr. Twyman. Gloria Hightower is to my left. You just wave so the folks will see you. Gloria took up the challenge from Rocky and formed a group over 2 years ago that later became the committee to rename the new Lamond-Riggs Library. And then to my right is like sometimes my partner in crime, Frank Wiles. He lives in Ward 5. He lives in Lamond-Riggs, longtime community activist, to say a few words.
Thank you. I just wanted to say the history of Ms. Huff and I go back to 1973. She lived on 11th Street. I lived on Eastern Avenue, and I would 12th, and I would always go by her house to talk politics. And let me tell you, if her dining room table could talk, it will tell you some story. But I want to say welcome to our group and our committee and our community. This is a great day, and God bless all of you.
Thanks, Frank. And then there's those people who are always behind the scene. You don't see them, you don't hear them. I'm talking about the 20 members for over 2 years of the committee to rename the new Lamond-Riggs Lillian J. Huff Library. Will the committee members please stand and wave your hand or jump up in the air or say something? And please join me in a round of applause. If you don't know, the committee did a really good job in developing a community consensus, a remarkable community consensus. 99% of all the organizations we asked in Lamond-Riggs, adjacent to Lamond-Riggs, both council members, both ANC commissioners, any and everybody across the city said yes to our request. They knew the work that Mrs. Huff did on this library decades ago, and all of them submitted letters of support to support our efforts to rename this library after Mrs. Huff. So please give them a round of applause as well. We knew that when folks knew the facts about Mrs. Huff's efforts, listen, this is a lady who spent over 30 years of her life to get the original library built. It opened in 1982. And after it opened, she had the foresight to go to the city government. The first initial advocacy was with the federal government. There was no city government. So in 82, after the library opened, she went to the city government and secured money to rebuild the library. That's the money that's been used now as a foundation for where you're standing right now. So again, Ms. Huff is the reason for the season. The committee's work is not done, although I hoped it would be done after the day, but it's not done. We plan to have a presence in the community day that DCPL is planning for the 27th of July in this facility. And as the only and first organization that asked that DCPL name this library after Mrs. Huff, the one who developed a remarkable community consensus in and adjacent to Lamond-Riggs, we are asking that they partner with us to make sure that that naming ceremony, and that's when the signage goes up front, to make sure that naming ceremony is something that we all can be very proud of. So thank you, DCPL. So please come back and share that with us, and certainly I know DCPL will send out information, so will we. And lastly, as you walk through this building, you know that Mrs. Huff is looking down and saying, thank you, thank you, thank you, right? I want you guys to look up or tell the person beside you as you walk through this building and say, simply, well done, Mrs. Huff. Well done. Yes. Well done. Yes. Thank you all for being here. Enjoy the rest of the day and enjoy this very beautiful Lamond-Riggs Lillian J. Huff Library. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and well, with that, the speechifying's over, so I want to invite all of my council members, Mayor Bowser, to please come join me in a ribbon cutting.